Go inside the Crimson Tide with your hosts Rodney Orr and Gary Harris, keeping you informed on everything Alabama. And now, Tider Insider TV.
Well, the Alabama coaching staff continues to round into form for the new season. Brent Key is in. That means some changes to the rest of the staff. We'll discuss the latest surrounding Nick Saban's assistant coaches coming up on the program. And thank you very much for tuning in to Tider Insider TV, presented each and every week by Buffalo Rock Bottling Company, alongside Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com. I'm Gary Harris. Tonight, Diet Pepsi Wild Cherry, my new personal favorite from the Pepsi collection, if you will. Good and cold, nice and icy, and that mic cord just always gets wrapped around there. I want to fix that. But good to have you back, Rod, for another week.
Good to be here.
And we have several football storylines, obviously, to get to, and we will get to them. But we're going to start with a team that right now has everybody talking in Tuscaloosa about March Madness. That's, of course, the Alabama men's basketball team. Head coach Avery Johnson met with the media today and discussed the Tide's recent run of success in the SEC.
Yeah, this team they've been sending shockwaves through the system. Like I tell them all the time, they're an inspiration to a lot of people, and especially just for playing team basketball. So, yeah, I'm proud of them from that standpoint. And, you know, when Redden obviously fouled out of the game, you know, it was going to be tough for us, but we made some really nice plays. And actually, the couple of plays that we made that led to Jimmy getting a dunk or Justin driving and giving Raleigh a short pass, those are things we were working on from day one, but we just figured it out in February.
Well, Alabama's on a 4-game winning streak, 5 of the last 6, and that good play has got them at 500 in the Southeastern Conference for the season, and the Tide will take on the top team in the conference tomorrow night, certainly one of them, that is LSU. Rodney, this Alabama men's basketball team, 9-3 in the pre-conference schedule, started out 1-4 in the SEC, but like I said, hot here lately. They're now 6-6 in the conference, 15-9 overall, and right smack in the middle of SEC tournament talk.
Yeah, gained a lot of confidence, obviously, as they've gone along. I think, you know, becoming acclimated with one another as a coach and his team certainly, I think, plays a role in that, the way this team is developed. And you know that Avery Johnson has a plan, and I think as the season's gone along, the team's kind of grown into what he wants to do and has gained a lot of confidence, as we mentioned. And, you know, when they played LSU earlier in the season here in Tuscaloosa, had an opportunity to win that game. It kind of got away from them. So certainly they've been competitive and can be competitive with LSU and Baton Rouge.
Yeah, absolutely had a chance to win it. It was, you know, tied late, and they wound up losing by 2. And they have found a way, as you said the key word, team. This is a team. This is a basketball roster where individually they're not that impressive looking. I mean, they don't have an All-American on the team. Certainly Retin Obasanjo's having maybe an All-SEC type year, but they're not going to look at that roster and say, man, that guy's great, that guy's great. But when they come together, they play for the entire 40 minutes in the game. They're not worried about who gets the success, and that's what a team really is all about. And that's why they're winning, because they are together, and this coaching staff has done a great job of molding them into a team. And it takes all of them. Like Avery Johnson says, Rodney, they don't have an aircraft carrier. They're just going to throw the ball into and say, go score for us. Don't have that guy.
Well, I think they're having fun.
They are.
And I think that makes a big difference when you're talking about a team maybe that is undermanned a little bit. I think they're having a lot of fun, and I think they've gained a lot of confidence, and those two things really go a long way.
All right, let's move from hoops to football. We mentioned it earlier, changes to the Alabama coaching staff, and it is now official. Nick Saban announcing that Central Florida's Brent Key is taking a position at Alabama as the interior offensive line coach, meaning that he will handle the guards and the centers. And Key's hire means that Alabama has to make some changes on the staff. Mario Cristobal moves to tackles and tight ends, and Bobby Williams is now going to be a special assistant to the head coach. Billy Napier will remain at wide receivers coach. Bobby Williams, a longtime trusted member of Nick Saban's staffs, not only here at Alabama, but LSU, the Dolphins, Michigan State, and he is coming off the field, but he'll still have a valuable role. You can only have 9 on-the-field assistant coaches, and that's why the change for Bobby Williams to be an off-the-field coach.
Yeah, and, you know, he's had a great run. He's been here since 2008, and, of course, he went back with Nick Saban at Michigan State, and I think he spent a year with him at LSU and various places. And Brent Key is an outstanding young coach. I think when you look at him, Gary, he's got ties to the state of Alabama. He's originally from here. He was an outstanding recruiter at down at Central Florida. He was considered a guy that possibly was like a head coach in waiting type. That didn't really pan out for him once George O'Leary left, but I think when you look at him, he is a bright young coach that a lot of people in the college coaching ranks really like him.
George O'Leary had quit when he was supposed to after the 2013 season, that big season. He'd have been the head coach at UCF. Didn't work out that way, and O'Leary kind of had to leave after it went south down there. Scott Frost comes in, doesn't retain Key, but this is a guy, as you said, been an offensive coordinator, now going to be an offensive line coach. But one more quick thought on that. A lot of people I hear say they're not a big fan of having two offensive line coaches. In essence, Alabama will now, with Key handling guards and centers and Cristobal handling tackles and tight ends. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't really think it's that significant. I mean, I know a lot of people. First of all, Nick Saban wouldn't do it if it wasn't something that has worked before in the past. I mean, so, and they've done it here at Alabama before, not under Nick Saban, but under various coaches. They've had split. They had Mike Solari and Jimmy Fuller at one time, Danny Pearman and Jimmy Fuller, if you remember. So it's not like it's not been done, and it's not like it's not been successful in the past. It's all about the guys working together, and I don't think that's going to be an issue. All
right, well, still to come on Tider Insider Television, a new beginning for the Alabama baseball team, ready to christen its brand new, newly renovated stadium. Plus, Richard Mullaney played a crucial role in the Tide's national championship this past season. Could the football team have its newest version of Mullaney? Another grad transfer. We'll speak to Garrick Deever's dad when we come back, Garrick Deever. And also, we'll have your phone calls, emails, and tweets. As always, there's how you can get in touch with us on the program. 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882. Or you can email us at TITV@WVUA23.com or reach us on Twitter using the hashtag TITV. We'll be right back with the only show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide. The one, the only Tider Insider TV will return right after this. The Alabama softball team went 4-1 as it opened the season down in Orlando at the UCF tournament. Their only loss came to the home team. They're really good. UCF is good. But the Tide still remains fifth in the latest national coaches poll. Look at all the SEC teams right there. 4 of the top 5. Florida, Auburn, LSU, and Alabama. Michigan is at number 2, and Alabama is currently taking on UAB over in Birmingham. We'll have those highlights for you tonight on the news at 10. Well, Alabama added over 25 players on National Signing Day a couple of weeks ago, but Bama didn't stop there. Garrick Deever, unique name, a graduate transfer from Bowling Green, is coming to Alabama. He made that announcement on his Twitter feed. He'll play the one season in Tuscaloosa this fall. He's 6'3", 209 pounds. He tallied over 1,000 yards in receiving with 94 catches for the Falcons in 2015. And we got a very special guest on the phone, Rodney. His dad, Garrick Deever. Sounds like Derek Jeter. Garrick, you can tell they're Yankees fans, even though Derek Jeter.
He's a big Yankees fan.
Derek Jeter was born before Derek Jeter, so that's just a coincidence there. But still, Derek, welcome into the program, man. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it. Everybody down there has been awesome with their congratulations, and talking to Garrick, he's done a couple of interviews and so on, but it's been phenomenal. Everybody's treated him like he's one of their own, so it's a great thing for him. I'm very happy for him.
Well, Rodney, folks are excited to have Garrick Jeter or Garrick Deever.
Yeah, this is a fantastic receiver, no question about that. He's proven what he can do, his success, and Derek, first of all, he obviously had a tremendous amount of success at Bowling Green. Kind of talk about what came into the decision, played into the decision he wanted to transfer to Alabama.
Well, I think, I think he'll be. I think next week he may have. I think he's going to go follow up in interviews, and you can ask him. I think, in a nutshell, the entire coaching staff left after they won the MAC championship and went to Syracuse.
Right.
And his best friend, the quarterback, and another receiver, they're both trying to get picked up, and I would assume they will. I don't know if they're going to get drafted, but certainly I think they would help any NFL team as a walk-on. And then he just kind of self-evaluated whether to possibly look at the NFL and see if he would come out early or take some more classes. And he just kind of decided for him to play another year of football. And then the real interesting part, he was very excited about working on a master's, which is very good. So yeah. I think, and then he started with the best team in the country, and it was kind of unique that they did have a walk-on from last year, and once he did his permission to contact, went to them, and I think Coach Napier got a hold of him, and they just boom, it meshed very quickly. So.
Yeah, Derek, this is Gary Harris again. I want to ask you about Richard Mullaney, the success that he had this past season after transferring in from Oregon State, playing a vital role in Alabama winning the national championship. How big a factor do you think that was for Garrick in coming to Alabama, what happened with Richard Mullaney?
Well, I knew he talked to him a lot, and I think, the reservation I had, it wasn't with Alabama or anything, that you never know, coming in how you will be accepted by a team. You may replace someone that was very popular, and, that would be tough. But I think Richard just told Gary, he said, hey, these kids are great, the community's great, the coaching staff will, you're coming into a family. And that's what I think when they talked, that was really a big help on, to tell Garrick, hey, you're not going to be an outsider. You're one of our guys, and we'll treat you like, like I said, family. So I think that was very big when he talked to him on that. And Coach Napier was very complimentary about Richard and how he really kind of held the receiver core together the first part of the season until everybody kind of broke out. So he said it was a very big part of the success of the team.
Yeah, obviously you're going to find out a lot more this coming next few days when you come in for the visit. But you've had to have some kind of discussions on, maybe how he fits in as a receiver, what Alabama likes or how they want to use him. Kind of talk about that.
Well, I have no idea. It's Garrick's getting, he's a quiet kid, and if he tells me something, fine. If, I don't push for that, I don't know. I'm sure, they've got a lot of weapons, and that, I think once he's there and everybody can see what he does, I think it's going to be kind of cool for Kiffin to have a lot of pieces of great athletes at his disposal to find out how they're going to do things. But I really don't know how they're going to put him into I don't know if he fit what he did with Mullaney. I don't know. That's up to the experts to do that, and It's just a cool thing that you're on paper probably one of the best, if not the best, receiving group in the country. So it'll be cool to see how they play that out.
Well, obviously he's been extremely successful. He's a great high school player, was an All-American, parade All-American, set all kinds of national records, 437 yards receiving in one single game. Gary's the only high school receiver to ever go for over 300 yards, 3 straight games. But kind of tell us a little bit, Derek, just describe him as a player for us.
It's just, as a father, I always try to stay objective, but, as a father, you just, every father dreams of his son, being a great athlete, and it's just worked out so far with him he had the luxury of having his older brother who was a quarterback, and he's thrown to him since, they could throw the Nerf ball around in the living room, and allegedly break some lamps, but we won't talk about that. But that's, and they've been doing that ever since. He played Pop Warner and set records and that, and just kind of morphed from, the quarterback and Pop Warner in middle school, and then by the time he got to high school, he just, I want to be a receiver, and he would practice and throw and then throw again and ask me to come out and throw again. It was just, he works very hard, and his goal is to get to the next level, and he is locked in on that goal. But it's just been a pleasure to see how hard he's worked, and in anything you have to have a lot of luck. He's had good coaches, good players, and I think, again, the one major thing has been an older brother who's thrown to him, through Pop Warner, through grade school, high school, and then even Nolan didn't get a lot of playing time in college. They would, warm up together and all that. So it's just been a dream come true for me, and for him, it's just all the work that he's put in, because, some people, when he had these catches against Toledo, which were, I have to stay objective, they were phenomenal catches, and people ask me, have you ever seen that before? And humbly, I would say, well, yeah, he's kind of been doing that since he was 10, but he's worked at it. He started doing those type of catches in the front yard when he was 10 years old. So it's, again, I'm very happy for him in this opportunity. You couldn't have drawn it up any better. Being able to go to the best team in the country with the best coaches, the best facilities, by far the best fans and family around. I'm just so happy for him, and just can't wait to get down there.
Well, Derek, we appreciate it. Growing up in South Bend there in the shadow of Notre Dame, it didn't work out for Gary to go to Notre Dame, but now he goes to Alabama, 2 of the all-time great programs. You grew up near one. He's going to be playing for the other. Thanks for the time, and we're looking forward to talking to Gary soon in the future as well. Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
All right, we're going to be back with more Tider Insider TV right after this. You stay with us. Phone calls coming up. There's the number on the screen on how you can get in touch with us. New seats, new entrances, new luxury boxes, new play area for kids. Heck, everything is new. Baseball is back, and the renovations to Sul Thomas Stadium will be on full display on Friday evening when Alabama plays the first game at its new ballpark, opening a 3-game series up against Maryland. The athletic department put over $40 million into the new Joe. Friday's game starts at 6:30 with afternoon games on Saturday and Sunday. Hey, phone lines are open. People are always wanting to know how they can get through. Say that we call in and it's busy. Well, there's a phone line open right now at 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882. But right now, let's go talk with John in Bessemer. Hey, John, how are you?
Hey, Gary, Ronnie, what's going on, man?
Hey, brother.
Hey, man, I'm trying to find out about the new quarterback we got next year. Is he going to be good? And I want to ask you about the defense and that new boy we're getting. Is he going to be good for next year or later?
All right, let me start with one at a time. Well, since it's up there about Mac Herford as a walk-on.
Yeah, he's a walk-on
walk-on.
receiver. Yeah, he's going to walk on. And, I mean, that's really all we can say. He's from the state of Virginia. And, you know, you always need good walk-ons, guys that eventually could contribute. You never know. What about Michael Neiswinder?
Yeah, and the new quarterback he's talking about is Jalen Hurts, already enrolled from the state of Texas. Will be a true freshman. He'll be in there pitching with those other 3 quarterbacks.
I think he's an outstanding prospect, no question about it. We've talked about him in depth on this show many times, and he's a dual-threat quarterback and played for his dad, so he certainly has a great grasp and understanding of the game.
And I think he asked about the defense. Was that the third?
The defense, I think the defense is going to be good again. They're losing some guys, obviously, Ashawn Robinson, Jaron Reed, DJ Petway, Reggie Ragland, all outstanding players, but you have some really good ones coming back, John. You know, Jonathan Allen came back. I think that's big. I think Deshaun Hand's going to kind of come into his own this year. Josh Frazier, Deron Payne, Dalvin Tomlinson, Reuben Foster, Rashawn Evans, Tim Williams, on and on and on, Minka Fitzpatrick in that secondary. So I think they're going to be outstanding again this year.
All right, thanks for the phone call, John. Let's go to Birmingham and talk to Ron. Ron, welcome into TITV.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing very well, Ron.
Good. Hey, I was just wondering, with Johnny Williams going off the field, who's going to be coaching special teams?
Well, I'm looking over the release right now that was sent out by the university. As we've said, Brent Key will handle guards and centers. Mario Cristobal will coach tackles, tight ends, and be the recruiting coordinator. And no word yet on how they'll handle the special teams. They may assign one coach to that. They may do it as with a group. There's different ways to coach special teams, but no announcement yet.
Right, and I think although Bobby Williams was over the special teams, obviously, the last few years, you know, it is usually a kind of a joint effort.
And, you know, the one thing about coaching changes, and I know some people will say, well, Alabama just won the national championship, but Coach Saban likes to keep people on their toes a little bit. You have a chance to bring in a young coach like this that's energetic, has a great reputation. Alabama's getting in Brent Key. You know, let's be clear on this with Bobby Williams. Bobby Williams and Nick Saban go way, way, way back. And Bobby Williams is a loyal assistant and has been a really good football coach for a long time. And I'm sure, Rodney, that in this position of a special assistant to the head coach, that's exactly what he'll be doing. He'll be assisting Nick Saban and whatever Coach Saban needs.
There's no doubt about it. I think, you know, Bobby Williams has done a fantastic job. You look at that championship game, his guys played the most significant role, I think, when you talk about the special teams and you talk about the tight end, O.J. Howard, 5 catches for 208 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's done a fantastic job as an on-the-field coach. And, you know, a special assistant, what he does off the field, certainly going to be important. And you never know. You know, Bobby Williams could come back on the field at some point.
He could. He and Nick Saban have a great relationship. Well, gymnastics up and down season took an unusual twist last week. More on the end of an incredible run over rival Auburn coming up. Plus, more of your phone calls, emails, and tweets. Again, you can get in touch with us. 205-348-WVUA is the number, 348-9882. Give us a call. We're right back with the only show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide. Tider Insider TV will return right after this timeout. (117-1). That's now the record Alabama has in its last 118 meets against Auburn. Yes, last Friday night at the Auburn Arena, after 37 years of dominance, the Auburn Tigers edged the Tide by 1/4 of a point. Alabama came back to beat West Virginia on Sunday by more than 2 total points, though, for a bounce back. But as they say, all good things must come to an end. And it did in gymnastics on Friday night. Let's go right back to the phone lines. Walter is with us here in Tuscaloosa. Hey, Walter, welcome into the program.
Hey, guys, I was just wondering, the new Dieter guy coming in from Bowling Green, will he be on scholarship or will he have to pay his own way?
Well, my expectation is, Walter, he'll be on scholarship.
I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, yeah, the expectation is he'll be on scholarship. I mean, he could have gone a lot of different places and could have stayed at Bowling Green, could have gone to a lot of other Division I schools. Richard Mullaney was on scholarship. He won't count in the recruiting class as a transfer, but he will count against the total of 85.
That's right. So, and that's generally the way it works.
Yeah. All right, let's go real quickly to Paris and talk to Sammy. Hey, Sammy.
Hey, Gary, how you and Rodney doing?
Very well, sir.
Great show. Enjoy it immensely.
Thank you.
And I had a question for, well, Rodney would know for sure. The big offensive lineman they had a couple of years ago, really highly recruited from Huntsville.
Grant Hill's who you're talking about. Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yes, sir.
Sammy,
what happened to him?
Rodney, he's not with the team anymore, and had some medical issues and gave up football.
Some
basically.
Injuries and so forth and so on. And I don't know that they ever made a specific announcement on that, but he's left the program.
Yep. Thanks for the phone calls tonight. We appreciate it. Well, still to come, 9 former Alabama players will showcase their skills at the NFL Combine later this month, but there was one notable snub from Alabama. We'll have that discussion for you on the only show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide, Tider Insider TV. We'll return from the University of Alabama's Digital Media Center, WVUA 23 studios inside Bryant-Denny Stadium right after this. And welcome back to Tider Insider TV. The Alabama Crimson Tide will be well represented at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis later this month. 9 former Tiders. Jay Coker, though, not among them. That's disappointing.
Big surprise.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought he would make it, but he will not be there. Hey, you see us tonight again in our original elephant wear dress shirts from the Locker Room located in downtown Tuscaloosa. Tell you what, go by and see them at their new store or shop online, man. All the original elephant wear, all of their great men's clothing and ladies' clothing is available now. The Locker Room, a Tuscaloosa tradition since 1964. You need to find out why. They are terrific. Speaking of terrific, it's the 3rd Tuesday of the month, and that means for dinner we're headed to see our good buddy Philip Guy at Buddy's Rib and Steak in Northport. Rodney and I'll be there in about 15 minutes. Usually a bunch of Bama fans show up. Why don't you come out and join us tonight for dinner at Buddy's Rib and Steak in about 15. For Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.
Go inside the Crimson Tide.